evening and welcome to Poland Daily. I'm Nicholas Richardson and this is the news. The current coronavirus restrictions have been extended by the government on 18th of April and the rules remain unchanged. Later this month it is possible for children to return to kindergartens and for younger primary school children to return to school. The next decision related to the epidemiological situation will be made next week. These are the most important points of today's press conference given by the Minister of Health.
Schools, shopping malls, beauty salons, cinemas, theaters, gyms and hotels will remain closed. In churches, there may be only one person per 20 square meters. These safety rules will continue for the next 2 weeks. We are looking at whether this trend regarding the reduced number of cases will continue despite the holiday season. But above all this, the most important reason, we want to see how these consequences of the wave of cases will look at the level of hospital infrastructure. The Minister of Health provided information about the difficult situation in hospitals. COVID-19 patients' beds are over 78% occupied and nearly 79% of ventilators are in use. So far, we have huge overload rates for hospital wards, huge overload rates for intensive care units. These are the things we've never seen before during the second wave. Businessmen from the gastronomy, hotel, and fitness industries who hope to reopen their businesses did not hide their dissatisfaction. Hoteliers generally have a very low occupancy rate. Some hoteliers who received grants are doing repairs, of course, and all staff who are waiters and receptionists are involved in this work. The situation in our business is tragic, but we handle it somehow. We handle it because we don't have any loans. I feel sorry for people who have opened their restaurants, hotel, or gyms and now have to pay off their loans. For them, it's another nail in their coffins. Over the next 2 weeks, more than 2 million vaccines will be delivered to vaccination points across the country. On Monday, a shipment of 870,000 doses of the Pfizer vaccines arrived in Poland. Unfortunately, only 80,000 of the over 170,000 doses of the AstraZeneca vaccines previously announced will actually be delivered. It's worth mentioning that local governments will be involved in speeding up the vaccination process. Cities with over 50,000 inhabitants have to organize no fewer than 2 vaccination points. But we decided that in Warsaw we will open 13. On 18th of April, 300,000 doses of the Johnson & Johnson vaccination will be delivered.
And now to the coronavirus update. During the last 24 hours in Poland, over 90,000 new tests were conducted, which detected nearly 15,000 new infections. Another 638 people have died.
The number of those infected since the beginning of the pandemic is approaching 2.5 million people, of whom over 55,000 have died. Approximately 6,800,000 vaccines have been administered in Poland, the first dose reaching over 4,700,000 people, while over 2 million people have had the second dose.
Slovakia has purchased 200,000 doses of the Russian vaccine Sputnik 5, which was positively reviewed by the British Lancet magazine. After close examination by Slovakian scientists, however, the vaccines were found to differ in composition from those advertised by the manufacturer. The Slovakian drug regulator said that the lack of sufficient data from the manufacturer of the Sputnik 5 vaccine to assess the risk meant that it was suspending the use of all 200,000 doses. The Law and Justice Party has a majority in the Polish parliament, and among the ranks of the ruling majority are members of 2 smaller conservative parties, the Porozumienie or Accord Party and Solidarna Polska or Solidarity Poland. The head of the Porozumienie, Jarosław Gowin, announced this Wednesday that he is suspending the agreement while outlining his group's support for the government. Meanwhile, in an interview published by the Gazeta Polska Weekly with the chairman of the Law and Justice Party, Jarosław Kaczynski, the party chairman stated that although he is starting to lose his patience, he still believes it is possible to complete the current parliamentary term to 2023. He pointed out in the interview that the crucial task at hand is to pass the vote on the EU budget in Parliament.
I do not even wish to comment on such behavior, as I am not the one to stir up emotions. But it would be good for them to recall the old Polish proverb, "The jug carries water, until its handle breaks off. Well, politics deals with relationships between people, and these can sometimes get out of hand. It's something to be aware of. Any good politician or one who wants to be efficient should be aware of it. The United Right camp has embarked on a dangerous path that some commentators have called the road to decay. One can still turn away from this path, but you need an honest conversation.
To wymaga przede wszystkim szczerych rozmów w cztery oczy.
To są zastrzeżenia do tego, że
These are the objections to the fact that Jarosław Gowin's leadership is being undermined by some politicians of the ruling majority. Therefore, we believe that attempts to destabilize one of the parties that make up the parliamentary majority are reprehensible.
Więc tego typu próby destabilizacji jednej z partii
nie jest w interesie Prawa i Sprawiedliwości, żeby były wcześniejsze wybory w kontekście.
Earlier elections are not in the interest of law and justice because according to the polls, there is no guarantee that this party will retain power. So I think that the ruling majority will last until 2023, but there will be significant changes in the composition of deputies.
Ta, która jest dotychczas.
Nikt, kto w jakikolwiek sposób...
Nobody who knows politics and President Kaczynski has a deep knowledge of the subject can rule out early elections. But Jarosław Kaczynski does not envisage such a variant. Talks are being held with other groups, such as Cookies 15, but I would not expect any surprises.
Tego nie prorokuje.
28-year-old Jakub Marchewka was shot in broad daylight in a Chicago parking lot over Easter, in what was reported to be a dispute over a car door. The Pole was rushed to the Loyola University Medical Center where he was pronounced dead from the gunshot wound to the chest. His death was ruled a homicide and a criminal investigation has been launched. That's the news. Thank you for watching. Stay with us for the weather, Poland Daily Business and more programmes. But from me, it's have a good night and a better tomorrow.